As a child, I would see things, and I remember the first time I was about 8, 9 years old, and there was at the foot of my bed, I saw this woman. And it was funny because the room was really, really hot. And whenever there's a ghost or a spirit, it should be cold, but this was hot. I'll never forget it. And I knew who it was, and as far as I knew, she was still very much alive. And I said, "You look so beautiful." And she smiled, and I could hear her talking to me without her moving her lips. She said, "Oh, I came to say goodbye." And with that, like a Walt Disney, she just vanished, and all these little, like a firecracker going off, and all these sparkles came crumbling down. My name is Frank Andrews, and I come from Buffalo, New York. When I was in London, they thought of me as a medium. If I was in Paris, they called me clairvoyante. If I was in Hong Kong, they called me a fortune teller. On the West Coast, they think of me as a parapsychologist. But in New York, I am strictly only a psychic. Well, the cards are something that I was fascinated by, and it's actually a book. It's two decks of cards put into one, and you shuffle them. The querent, the person I'm reading for, that is, will shuffle the cards, and then I lay them out in patterns, and I read the patterns. And it's interesting because I do it in a traditional English way, because my teacher was from England. They're all very interesting, and they're all the facts of life. I mean, you have a sun card, which is happiness and joy and liberation and paradise. And then you have a card that's the moon, which is disappointment and deception and dark. Well, I talk about their past, I talk about their present, and I talk about their future. And I try to figure out why they're a failure, and why they're in depression, why they're not healthy, why their relationships are not working out. Why do you hate the job? Why did your father insist that you become an accountant when you really should have been an actor? So we go through all of that, and we try to work on it. And where is the possibility if we can change that? A lot of times you can't. I remember reading for John Lennon. I did read for Princess Grace and Perry Ellis. I never read for Andy Warhol. He did my portrait, but he was too frightened to have a reading. It's been word of mouth all these years, except recently with the internet. And apparently there's a lot of things written about me, and there's an article from New York Magazine on the internet that people have been looking up for a psychic, and they call me. I would rather it be a recommendation, because they sometimes don't know what they're getting into. They're expecting me to walk on water, and I don't think any psychic has ever done that. There's no words to describe what went through me. And at that point, I knew that there's something in the universe a lot more than what we see here, on this planet, because I really had left that room. And so with that, and then with the tarot cards, I found my calling.